We are back, and we're being joined by our final guest of the evening. He is UFC Middleweight, and, no stranger here to cage-side submission, Mr. Anthony the Lionheart Smith. Anthony's on a 2-fight winning streak and slated to return to the octagon. September 16th, UFC Fight Night 116, right here in PA, up in Pittsburgh. And it's still Hector, right? Hector hasn't called out. He says he's got a sprained toe or anything like that.
No. Hector hasn't failed a steroid test yet, so he's still on the books.
Oh man, yeah, I was excited. You finally got that kind of that name guy that kind of people kind of attached to kind of it's your kind of your first chance to get one of those bigger names out of there. 2-fight streak now. Is this the fight that you were kind of looking for to kind of kind of launch pad you up into that top 15 category up there?
Fuck no. Hector was not who I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight someone a lot better than Hector. I'm in a no-win situation fighting Hector, man. It's a fight that I'm supposed to win. He's coming off of 3 losses. He hasn't won a fight since his failed steroid test at UFC 189. I think it's painfully clear that Hector can't win a fight unless he's on steroids. So I'm fighting a guy that's extremely well known, extremely feared, that I'm supposed to beat. So if I beat him, everyone's expecting it. Or at least everyone who knows what the fuck they're talking about is expecting it. I beat a guy that's lost his last 3 fights and is on his way out the door. And if he beats me, then I just lost to a guy that's got 3 losses. Well, I mean, it's not like he's not capable of still beating people. You know what I mean? So I was looking for a ranked opponent. We were going back and forth with Uriah Hall, and I think it's really funny. His excuse was he didn't want to fight in September. He didn't like the date. He didn't like the location, and sure as shit, here he is on the same fight card. So it's same old shit, different day, I guess. But no, I didn't want to fight Hector, and I didn't want to fight him for the exact opposite reasons everyone else didn't want to. I wanted someone better, and I wanted someone tougher.
This is one thing I love about Anthony. Anytime I ask him a question, I get the absolute answer that he is absolutely thinking. There's no sugarcoating it with Anthony Smith. I love it.
And there shouldn't be.
Never. Hey man, it's one of the things I love about him. Like listen, same thing I respect for him in the cage, the same thing I respect for him out of the cage. He puts everything into it, and what you see is what you get when it comes on. There ain't no sugarcoating it. It's one of those things. I think the guys like Anthony are a dying breed in this sport, man. A lot of these fighters nowadays, they just want to be politically correct. They don't really want to ruffle any feathers or any truth whatsoever. They just want to tell people what they want to hear for whatever reason that is. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, man, I was way past the politically correct days a long time ago. If that was the road that I was going to go down, then I jumped off those tracks a long time ago. I'm brutally honest and in tune with who I really am. And I'm not everybody's favorite person, and I'm okay with that. And a lot of people don't like brutal honesty. They don't like realness. And that's who I am. And Hector obviously doesn't like it at all. He's not happy with me at all. But at the same time, everything I've said is factual. Every single thing that I've said about Hector is factual. I'm not making shit up. I don't know who he is. I haven't spoke about his personality or his morals or whatever. People ask me questions and I answer them, And if he doesn't like it, guess what? You're 40 years old and you're gonna have to figure out how to deal with that someday.
Hey, listen, it's one thing I think that
to be honest with you guys, I listen to your guys' show, and it cracks me up that every time I answer a question, it's just dead silence. Because You guys are like, holy shit. You know what to say that? Holy crap, yeah.
Hey man, I'm just waiting for you to add something else onto it. I'm waiting for the other chord to drop because I know how you get, man. We've done this so many times. Like I said, I'll never forget when we came on and you had to save the dot of 5,000 because his freaking manager's a freaking doofus or whatever. And we spent, a good 40 minutes just making fun of that whole situation. As much as I want to be surprised about the stuff that comes out of your mouth at the end of it, I'm not, because I know that whatever subject comes up, that Anthony's going to give you his unfiltered opinion about it, and you're just going to have to deal with whatever he has to say, because that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm just getting going, man. So if you guys got time, I'm here.
Oh, dude, I definitely got some time, man. I mean, dude, like, a lot of things have changed since the last time we talked. In the sports world and stuff like that. Your division is starting to seem even more wide open now than it ever was. The guys at the top of that division starting to look like their time in the sport or in the cage is starting to catch up with them. A lot of them are on the far back nine of their 30s. Luke Rockhold, I don't know what's up with that guy. He was supposed to, hold that belt for a while and take a long run with it, and Bisping puts him away, and then it almost kind of looks like he's trying to find excuses not to be active and get back on the horse. I don't know if he's getting too California, too Hollywood. He just wants to look like he's a fighter. I don't know what's going on at the top of that division. If what is your take on what's going on there? I mean, you got your champion basically fighting non-ranked title contenders, and the people are actually eating that up as he's actually defended his title against people. I'm sorry. I do have that saying where I do say you're not a champion until you defend the belt, but there's going to be, in my opinion, let's say Michael Bisping does happen to beat George St. Pierre and he retires, I will hold a humongous asterisk on that because he never defended that title against a single ranked opponent if he were to walk away at that point in time. I mean, am I the only one that feels this way? Do you feel like, Michael Bisping's almost, you could almost say the word paper champion because of that fact, or am I being too hard for Michael?
I think in that I got 3 points. The first point is I don't really meddle in business that has nothing to do with me. So, I'm not at the top of the division right now. So, my buddy Ryan Moody, who you guys know, he does a pretty good job of explaining how the log jam and the clusterfuck at the top of the division could affect me. But in my eyes, it doesn't really affect me because I'm not at the top of the division yet. I'm still climbing my way up there. I'm still trying to get my way there. I'm still trying to get guys to sign the contracts. I'm trying to get the right fights, trying to beat the right guys. So it doesn't really change the course of my day. What Bisping, Rockhold, Whitaker, Yoel, Romero, and all those other idiots are doing. It doesn't affect me, so I don't really worry about it too much. I'm kind of of the mindset I'll worry about it when I get there. The second point is, Bisping's doing his thing, man, and I have a really hard time knocking Bisping, and that's only because of the things that he's done in the sport. Now that he's been champion, he's kind of calling his own shots and doing his thing, but people forget really quickly, man, the things that Bisping's done and the people that he's fought. He's fought everybody, and he's been so close to title shots several times, and fallen a little bit short. He's beat a lot of tough dudes. I mean, he fought Chael Sonnen, he beat Anderson Silva. And if you talk about the paper champion thing and how he's not defended it against top guys, Luke Rockhold beat Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman beat Anderson Silva twice, and he knocked out Luke Rockhold to take the championship. So you can't take that away from him. At the same time, the dude's been grinding and fighting his ass off for how many years? You know what I mean? Look it up. When was Bisping's first UFC fight? I mean, that's a long time ago. So, and he's done nothing but fight top contenders ever since then. So, if he wants to take the big fights, he wants to fight Dan Henderson. I can't really knock him for fighting Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson made him look like a fucking idiot at UFC 100. Look at Dan Henderson's logo. Dan Henderson's logo is him flying through the air, knocking out Michael Bisping. I mean, at some point in time in your life, if you can get that back, and you can redeem yourself and rematch, and you can. There's no question that Michael Bisping sleeps a little bit better at night knowing that he got that one back. So I can't really knock him for that. Plus, it was a big fight that I wanted to see along with a lot of other people. So, I can't really knock what Bisping's doing right now because he put the time in, he put the work in, and I can't say anything about that because now he wants to try to get paid and fight GSP. And let's be honest here, out of everybody here, if you can create a big fight and make millions of dollars fighting GSP in a fight that I think that Bisping can win, why the fuck wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Why not? Go ahead. I kind of look at it and say, go get your money, man. You know what I mean? You put the work in, you put the time in, you deserve it. Go get it. It does create a logjam, but I'm not Lee Grosso, so I don't give a shit.
Fair enough, brother. Fair enough. And you are right. He has fought who's who. People tend to forget he was the season 3 winner of the Ultimate Fighter. Where they just started season 25. So yeah, Michael Bisping's been around for a while. He has beat a lot of guys. I'll give him the redemption of trying to go and get redemption for the Dan Henderson thing. But this is the one that doesn't make sense to me. It's because after you get that fight that you asked for, that you want, this is the one you wanted back. I'll give you that. But then the next one should be the next in line. I get why making this one, because this is ultimately, the money fight thing, which is it goes in line with everything what the UFC is doing now. I guess that goes back to me just being one of these guys who's been following the sport for so long, and I guess we kind of feel that merit over name value and money should kind of mean something at some point. But they run a business; they got to do what they got to do to make money. I'm not gonna completely and totally bash them over it. I just still feel that
right.
That there has to be a line somewhere where you're literally letting several divisions kind of go that way. You're going to have fans and fighters who are going to get upset about it. So I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done, but maybe less often wouldn't be too much of a problem to ask for at the end of the day.
No, and I agree with that. It is happening a little bit more often, and of course, you guys look at it from a fan's perspective and someone who's enjoying the sport and taking it in as a consumer, and I look at it as a fighter. So if you lay out GSP in front of me after a 3-year layoff and moving up a weight class, you're serving up a $10 million check. That's individually as a person, that's hard to turn down. Especially, if Bisping beats GSP, he has 2 legends on his record. Can you imagine how many other people have a win over Anderson Silva and GSP? That's some legendary shit. There's just no way you turn that down as a fighter. So I think if the people want to be upset, they need to be upset at GSP for coming in and kind of calling his shots, or be upset with the promotion on letting it happen. Individually, the person, Michael Bisping's got kids, he's got a family, he's got a home, he's got bills, and he's at the tail end of his career.
And he's also going to be dealing with medical problems as he gets older. The stuff with his eyes, no joke. The stuff with his eyes, no joke. And I keep saying this, and people keep ignoring it. You're going to have a CTE problem in this sport within the next 5 to 10 years. I think people are ignorant to the fact that
I worry about
just
that shit a
because.
lot.
Like, I mean, Anthony, is that something you worry about when you go when you look at you know, your growing family and stuff, that, you know, I'm gonna be like, you know, some of these stories that you hear from things that NFL players have done to themselves?
I do. I worry. I think about that a lot, man, and it's something that I don't really talk about too much. I talked about it with Michaela a lot. For, I guess, everyone that doesn't know, Michaela is my longtime fiance and the mother of my kids. I talk about that with her more than I've ever talked about it before, because it's something that I worry about. You know, I got 3 young kids. You know, they're 5, 3, and 12 weeks. So, you know, someday when I'm 29 now, so someday when I'm 40 or 45, you know, and they're doing their sports and they're in school or college or whatever, I don't want to be the punch-drunk dad in the stands that's stumbling over his words and you know, can't form a fucking sentence. You know, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, you got to look at a risk and reward kind of situation. This is all I know. It's all I've done for over a decade. I've been a pro since 2008, and I fought for 2 years as an amateur before that. You know, I don't know. That's all I know. It's all I know how to do. And you know, obviously I was a construction worker, a concrete finisher for a long time, but this is where I make my money, you know, and this is how I support my family. It's how I keep a roof over our head. I keep us in a nice neighborhood. Everyone drives nice vehicles, and my kids go to a really, really good school. And you know, this is the sacrifice I'm making. I just want to try to avoid, you know, head injuries as much as I can, because I want to be able to have a life after fighting, and I want to be able to remember everything, and I want to be able to be a productive person in their lives late into my 50s and 60s. And you know, someday, as much as I don't like to admit it, I'm gonna have grandchildren. You know, I have all daughters. So, you know, as a man, you don't like to think about that, you know, but someday I'm gonna have grandchildren. I'm gonna be somebody's grandpa, and I want to still be able to be functional when that time comes, you know, and not have Michaela doing the things that you see some of these boxers' wives do, as far as, you know, hiding how fucked up his brain really is, you know, like doing everything for me, and when people ask questions, she answers for me, and scheduling everything that I got to do, you know. I mean, how many times do you see Muhammad Ali getting carted out in front of the fucking crowd for $1 doing an appearance because he needed the money, but the dude couldn't form a fucking sentence to save his life? You know, he's just waving because someone's saying, "Hey, Muhammad, wave, there's people, wave." You know, like, he doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. You know, I don't want to do that. Even
further, look at what's going on with Gary Goodridge right now. You know, he's one of these guys who, you know, fought too long. You know, has TBI. You know, has, you know, blank spots in his memory. Has, you know, dizzy spells. You know, we've seen a thing 2 years ago where you know, he had passed out in the bathroom, has this freaking huge freaking gash on his head. They took his driver's license. You know, it's one of these things. Like, I do worry about a lot of these guys who, especially these guys who like to get in these firefights. You know, guys like Michael Chandler, you know, guys like Justin Gaethje. I really worry about where they're going to be in 10 years, because I don't want to see any of these guys that I grew up, that you know, as I was following the sport, I grew up, you know, going nuts watching these guys, like, literally leave their blood, guts, and brains literally there in the cage. I don't want to see you guys like that. I don't.
No, and I think about that a lot. I really do. And I, you know, unfortunately, it's not really my style to get in those firefights like that. You know, I've taken a couple big shots here and there, but nothing too crazy. I mean, think about Diego Sanchez. I mean,
oh my God, I know he's going to be on. I know he's going to be one of them, because he has that.
Well, I think he's halfway on his way. I think he's well on his way. Diego ain't the same dude that I met in 2010 or 2011 or whatever it was the first time I met him. He's not the same dude now. He's totally different, you know. And you know, me and Diego had our beef, and I think we squashed it. I think Diego and I are good. You know, I think that we talked it out like men. But I mean, fuck, man, if I'm just sitting here being honest, you know, I think part of the shit that you see and people are like, oh, he's so strong and he's crazy and he just doesn't give a fuck. I don't think he knows any better anymore. I don't. I think that the Diego you guys seen, you know, when he was on The Ultimate Fighter and all the wars he had after that, I think the Diego now is a product of the Diego that we seen back then. And I'm not trying to do that, man. And you know, that's why I'm working really hard with some people that are a lot smarter than me to try to figure out what the hell I'm going to do when I'm done. Because I don't want to be done and trying to figure out what my next step is and counting money as it's draining out of the account before I figure out where I'm going to go. But I also don't want to be sitting around here now with one foot out the door, half in and half out. So it's kind of a, you know, that's a dangerous situation to be in too. So, you know, it's kind of a line you got to ride. So I have my manager's doing a good job of trying to figure out what the next step is after this, and you know, Michaela and I are trying to set ourselves up for the future and go from there. But you know, I don't know. You know, it's a crazy thing, and I'm not trying to do this until I'm 37, 38 years old. You know, I want to get in, rise through the ranks, get me a title, and defend it a few times, bank some money, and just ride off into the sunset with my health, my life, my children, my family, and my brains. That's my goal. Get out of this shit with a fucking sense about me somehow.
Hey man, I think that's all we can answer for you guys too, man. It's one of the things I say to a lot of these guys. Have a plan outside of this too, man. You know, you look at, you know, I already mentioned a guy like Paul Felder. He has one of those styles that make me worry. But also the guy doesn't need to fight. He has a degree from the University of Arts. The guy could probably walk onto any freaking movie set he wanted to and get an audition just with that alone. He's also lucky enough to have the situation where he's already getting involved into the color commentary, play-by-play aspect of it. So he's probably going to be one of these guys that are going to naturally get transitioned into the commentary part of things, like Brian Stan did. So you see some of the guys doing this, but what about the guys who don't have those opportunities? What about them? It's one of the things that worries me about where the sport goes, and I literally worry about all you guys. You know, all the things that we've discussed over here over the past 20 minutes about this, it's one of the things I think that people don't talk about. And it's like the purple elephant that's standing right there in the corner staring at us, and no one wants to talk about.
Oh man, I within my little circle, you know, it's something that we talk about. You know, I talk about it a lot with my friends that don't fight, because those tend to be the people that worry the most. And I think it's because I think we're so deep in the jungle we can't see the trees. If that makes any sense, as fighters.
I know exactly what you're saying, but like the thing that even worries me even more is like, look what happened with the kid that died in that drunk driver last year. The kid from down there at Black Jordan Parsons. He had it.
Yeah, that Bellator kid.
He had CTE and he was 26, which means, and from what my understanding is, he had been doing it for, I think, like somewhere in between 3 to 5 years. So in that period of time, he developed CTE. That worries me.
For sure. That that's funny you bring that up. Me and Michaela. Obviously, if you guys can't tell, I don't have very many fucking friends. So my best friend is Michaela. My best friend is Michaela. So that's
your best friend should be your wife, fiance, brother. It should be.
So I remember when Jordan was killed. And his mom donated his brain. He had CTE. That was like a fucking holy shit moment. Like, goddamn, that kid had like 8 fights. You know, think about this. My next fight is my 40th pro fight. 40 pro fights. This kid had 8 fights, and it's not like he was in battles with monsters. Like, here's the shit that I think about when I'm getting ready to walk into the cage. Maybe not right before, but like in the days leading up into it. I start to look back on my life because let's be honest here. Hector Lombard is a fucking savage. He's a monster. Hector could put me down, and I may never wake up. I may never wake up again. That's a valid possibility. It's very possible. It's happening more and more as time goes on in the sport. You see, there was just that, God damn it, what was that guy's name? The UFC vet that just passed away. God damn. He died in the box.
Tim Hague.
It just happened again. Like, it's happening more and more and more. And it's because guys, honestly, I think it's because guys are getting better. Guys are getting better. They're hitting harder. They're in better shape. They're able to do more damage. I think about that before.
One of the things we were literally just talking to Sodiq about is, like, sometimes, like, people say that people tell me that I get a little too biased with some of these young guys that are up and coming. I'm like, listen, I'm not being biased. From not just their training partners, but people they fight, how other people talk about them, validates what I'm saying. But you got to think of it. If you put a guy, if you put even you, Anthony, they would have put you in UFC 1. You probably would have ran through everybody on that freaking roster that night. It's just shown how much the sport has grown from that point to this point. So it's only just a natural progression that the next group of guys that are coming through, or girls for that matter, are going to be that much more well-rounded, that much more better, that much more dangerous as we go along.
You can use that logic in any sport. I mean, take the Patriots last year winning the Super Bowl, put them against the guys who played in the Super Bowl II or Super Bowl V. It's going to be a brutal bashing. It's just as time goes on, things evolve. People get better. People get stronger. The ways of training evolve, and that's just a painful part of it, So, it's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing that we do every single day, and I don't take it for granted. I really don't. I want to build a life for my family that we can live off of forever, and I don't mean just money wise or monetarily. I mean like a legacy where I'm always going to be able to make money off of what I do or who I am, and that means if I go and I win a title and I don't bank fucking $30 million, but I can use my name to build a company that can make money for my family, so that's what I'm going to do. But I want to do it as quickly as I can and get out as quick as I can. I love fighting. I love this sport. But I also love my health, and I love my children, and I love Michaela. And I love who I am as a person, and I don't want that to ever change. So I guess to get off of this stupid sad shit, that's
well,
my
no,
plan.
like, dude, like, listen, and there's other things that I think about too that'll help you guys as fighters, and me and even Carrie have even kind of touched base on this on shows in the past. Is you guys aren't really allowed the proper way to kind of rehab and re-heal yourself because of all the restrictions from the athletic commissions all the way down to the USADA testing. Like, I still think a big thing that would help a lot of athletes who are in contact sports would highly benefit from CBD oil or some type of THC therapy, regardless if it's smoking it, eating it, somehow get it in your body, because that's what's going to help you guys, both the mental side of things and also the physical side of things, because it's something that would help you. I know it's kind of a taboo thing because it's still to the thing where it's still trying to fight things federally for some things, but it's proven to help you guys, even to the point where now the NFL is starting to kind of crack back on that aspect of it, because they know how many black eyes they've given themselves over the CTE thing, and now they're starting to lax on the marijuana testing. So what do you say to a guy like Josh Gordon, who's literally lost his entire career because the NFL suspended him at the yin-yang for it, and now they're going to be allowing it? It's just there's so many aspects of how much of all of sports when it comes to this aspect of being allowing these things that'll help you guys physically and mentally to do that, but just because they want to be politically correct on how the rest of the world views it. It's crazy.
It is crazy. You know, I haven't gotten too big into the CBD oil thing and the THC therapy and all that stuff, but I do train in Denver, so I have a lot of teammates that are doing those things, and if you talk to them about it, they it's like running into somebody who's preacher. I mean, they just live and die by it, and they really believe in what it's doing. But that's not really just a road that I can go down, because it's number one, it's not legal. Number two, USADA is totally against it. And to be 100% honest with you,
I don't think CBD is something that USADA tests for, though. The THC part, you're right, but I don't think the CBD is something, and I think that is something that could help you between training sessions and whatever. At least it's something worth looking into.
Two or three of my main training partners, Chris Camozzi, Ian Heinich, and Brian Camozzi, are huge on the CBD oil. And if you look at any
they're sponsored by my sponsor.
Yeah, and there's a couple guys on the team that are also as well. If you look at Factory X, look at their teammates, damn near all of them have some sort of CBD oil sponsorship, so there's got to be something behind it. But to be honest with you, I'm a small-town Nebraska kid. I believe that Bud Light and bonfires pretty much heal everything. So that's how I am. I've never
not a bad slogan to live by, brother.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. A Bud Light and a bonfire will heal all. I promise you. But I don't take supplements. I don't take protein. I don't take creatine. I don't even take vitamins. You know, and it's funny that I say that because
now let me ask you: is that because you feel you don't need it, or you're just absolutely terrified that you're going to be the next guy that made an example of?
It's a little bit of both. You know, I've only been under the USADA drug testing policy for the last 2.5 years, but I've never taken anything even before that. And like I said, man, I think it's a Midwest thing. It's a Nebraska thing. We just believe that hard work and dedication and just busting your fucking ass and eating right will give you everything that you need. And I have a really hard time getting out of that mentality. You know, I've had a couple supplement companies that have tried to bring me on and tell me the things that I need and tell me what's going to make me perform better. And you know what? I haven't found anything that's made me perform better than just getting my ass out of bed and showing up to the gym and just fucking working hard, you know? And I've just stuck by that. And then now that I'm under the USADA drug testing protocol, I just don't see the reward in it versus the risk, because if all these guys are really running into tainted supplements, you got Tim Means and Yoel Romero and John Jones. Apparently he's the most unluckiest guy you've ever met. Apparently everything he takes is tainted. So, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth the 2 years off. You know, I don't make John Jones type of money. I can't afford to be off for 2 years.
I don't think John Jones hasn't made John Jones that type of money in well over a handful of years. So the fact that DC made double what he made just to show up to that cage about a month ago, I think says it all.
Well, think about this. When Hector Lombard failed his drug test at UFC 189, his fine was $108,000. Now, usually your fine is a small percentage of what you made. So if that was, 30% of what he made, that's a fucking shit ton of money. I don't make that kind of money.
Yes, sir.
$108,000 fine would bankrupt me. So it's just, am I really going to risk having to be off for 2 years and not able to fight, and then a big fine, and then my name is tarnished. I'm never going to be able to make the money that I would have been able to make because I wanted to take a dick pill or I wanted to get some protein. Like, what is it really worth it? Did I really gain that much from it? Probably not. I think that the whole supplement industry as a whole is a big fucking farce. I think it's a bunch of guys telling a bunch of other guys, hey, this will make you big and strong and fast, when really it's a shortcut. You get enough sleep at night, you drink enough Bud Light, you sit by a bonfire, and then you go to practice the next day. That's how world championships are made.
And this is why I love Anthony Lionheart Smith.
That's truth talk. That's just being honest.
Hey man, like listen, at the end of the day, you are a dying breed, my friend, and this is why I have the utmost respect that I do for you. Is because no one really thinks that way. Is you're one of these guys that doesn't take these supplements. And the reason why they take those supplements is so that when they go and look in the mirror, they see that they got those six packs and their arms are big and they look all cut and defined. That looks great for the sponsorships and all that, but at the end of the day, it's not really that functional. And a lot of times you see guys that wind up looking like that. They gas out earlier on in them fights because the extra weight they're carrying around in the muscles, that lactic acid builds up and it's over.
It is. And here's what I've always said. I've said this from day one. All those muscles are for the beach. If you wanna be a fight machine, you'll probably look like me. I don't have a six-pack because you don't need a six-pack to beat somebody's ass. That's how it goes. And
I think Roy Nelson proved to us that.
Right. You don't need to be a muscle-bound freak like Hector Lombard. You really don't. You need to be functionally strong. There's a difference between being super strong and being functionally strong. There's a big difference. Hector Lombard, if me and him were in a bench press competition, that dude would blow me out of the water 10 days out of 10. But let's be honest here, we're all going to find out in 10 or so days what it really means to be functionally strong. And everyone thinks that Hector Lombard is going to manhandle me. And he's going to dump me on my fucking head.
I think, listen, you're already going to have a size advantage on this dude. Like, listen, this is the way I see a fight playing out. Literally, Hector Lombard has 3 minutes to put you away, and then you're going to drag him into deep waters and make him, and he's going to have a bad night. This is just the way I see it.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're totally wrong. You're wrong. That's not happening.
Okay.
Everyone else who's ever fought Hector Lombard is not Anthony Smith. Hector Lombard has explosions and he has sprints and he goes fucking wild and crazy, and everyone wants to circle away and they want to run from him and they want to wait till he gasses out. That's not how I fight. I pressure people. I get right in your face. It's like two bulls running into each other, and we're gonna figure out who the fucking toughest guy is. And I promise you, it's not Hector. You've never fought anybody like me, and there's a reason that you guys hear everything that I'm saying, and the only thing Hector says is, "I'll see you on September 16th." Anyone else who's ever pointed their finger in Hector's chest and had anything to say about it, Hector's lost his fucking mind and ran his mouth and gone crazy. And he's not doing that with me. And I think it's for the same reason everybody else in the UFC has nothing ever to fucking say to me. And they don't take fights. They back out of fights. They come up with excuses. And when we're walking around UFC events and we're walking around athlete retreats, it's the same reason every time I walk by, everyone puts their fucking head down. It's because I'm the real fucking gangster around here. And it's not being funny or trying to come up with a soundbite like Chael Sonnen. It's because I truly don't give a fuck who you are. I've been through so many things in my life, and I've been through so many things in my career, and dealt with so much adversity. There's nothing anybody in this division is going to do to me that I haven't seen. I'm too experienced, and I've been doing this way too fucking long, and I train way too goddamn hard. There's a reason Hector's not being good, because he knows everything I'm saying is right. And I'm going to meet him in the middle, and I'm going to make Hector tired. That's not waiting for him to get tired. There's a big difference. I'm going to pressure him. I'm going to be right in his face, and I'm going to wait until he decides he wants to quit, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to meet in the middle. Hector's going to go crazy, and he's going to throw his flurries, and then you guys are going to see him quit. And you're going to see Hector circle in the cage, just like Andrew Sanchez did, and then he's going to fall asleep like everybody else. And that's 100% how I feel this fight's going to go. He'll be really tough for the first couple minutes, and so I agree with you there. But it's not going to be him throwing these flurries and me just trying to weather the storm. That's not going to happen. It's going to be him getting tired from the pressure because he can't deal with it. Because mentally he's a midget. He's a midget just like his fucking height. He can't deal with it. And just the fact that he had to take steroids at some point in his career gives me the mental edge on him. He already at some point in time was worried that he wasn't good enough. And I've known that my entire career that I have been good enough. It's just things haven't clicked up until this point, and now they're clicking, and Hector Lombard is going to deal with it.
I can't wait to see it either way. And the fact that you're basically telling him that, telling me that you're basically gonna stand in front of this bull and basically make him be the one that backs up and circles out. I can't wait to see this for this freaking thing now. This is gonna be nuts.
When is the last time you didn't see that happen in a fight with me? When's the last time you've seen anybody?
No, I definitely can't take that away from you, brother. I can't take that away from you. I won't take it away from you. Win, lose, or draw, you stand your ground, man. And like I said, you're one of these dying breeds, man. You're one of these species that are probably wither away, man. Go ahead, brother.
Think about this. When is the last time you've seen Hector Lombard one punch knock out anybody? Don't worry, I'll wait. How long ago was that?
5 years or so, if not longer.
Everyone sees this fucking monster that's just unstoppable, and if he clips you, you're gonna go down. Everybody that he's ever punched or clipped or whatever in the UFC that's gone down has done it running away from him. Neil Magny. Think about the Neil Magny fight. I like Neil Magny. He's a friend of mine. I like him a lot. But when Hector clipped him and put him down, it was when Neil was skating the edge of the cage, trying to get away, chin up, pulling away. It doesn't matter who you are. If you clip somebody like that as they're pulling away and they're on their heels and they have no real shock absorber, they're going to go down. That's just how it is. And I just don't see this super powerful, just monster puncher that everybody sees. Because my chin's going to be tucked and I'm going to be moving forward. I'm going to meet him. I'm going to meet his punches that's coming. And if he puts me down, then I'll eat my words and I'll look stupid. But I just don't see it happening. I fought better guys than him. I'll say this. I think Andrew Sanchez beats the dog shit out of Hector Lombard. I 100% believe that. And that's just my opinion. I think that the last two guys that I beat would beat Hector. And so I just don't see the killer that everybody else sees. I think that his legacy that he had in Bellator when he was sticking needles in his ass every single day and just killing people. Who the fuck did he beat in Bellator that was worth the fuck? Nobody. He was beating nobody. He was knocking out.
He was beating tomato cans.
Oh,
let's be honest. He was beating tomato cans. There wasn't anyone for him to fight in that division.
He was throttling dead bodies. There was nobody there. So then he comes over and gets beat up by Tim Boach. Tim Boach is a goddamn gangster. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Tim Boach is a dark horse of the division. That dude's a fucking bad motherfucker. But then he beats Nate Marquardt. Nate was having problems cutting down to 170. I think they both have had problems making it to 170. Then I think when you cut too much weight, it fucks with your chin and you can't take punches like you could before. I'll tell you now, if him and Nate fought now, Nate would walk right through that dude, 100%. And then who else does he beat? Yushin Okami beat him. Johnny Hendricks beat him. Neil Magny beat him. Dan Henderson beat him. I mean, who has he beat these days? Like in a recent history, who has he beat? Who knows? You know what I mean? And goddamn Berkman. He beat Berkman, but that dude's a goddamn steroid head too. So I just don't see it, man. And I know I'm kind of getting off on the tangent now and I'm talking shit, but I just don't see it. No,
the thing is, you aren't talking shit. You're hitting us with real stuff and something that with substance, not just somebody just talking at the side of their head trying to get us to believe something. You're speaking the truth, man. I'm not I don't feel what you're doing is talking trash on it.
It's fact. It's 100% fact. I mean, I guarantee you, at least 10 people listening to this right now looked up from their phone or their screen and said, Josh Berkman failed a steroid test? Yeah, he fucking did. Look it up. That shit happened.
Yeah, it did. I'm not gonna do that one.
But no one
and he's right. Go back and look. The only one that I think that you could say that probably was a good win for him was the Jake Shields fight, but that wasn't even a great fight. It was,
talk about another guy that failed a steroid test. We're gonna bring up another guy that failed a steroid test. Come on now.
Oh wait, I got another one for you. What about Paul Harris? What about Paul Harris?
There we go. He's just fighting other, just guys he was better juicing at the time. I mean, goddamn.
How about Jesse Taylor? Can we give him credit for that one?
I take that back. I'm not 100% sure Paul Harris has ever failed a steroid test, so I don't know about that. Jake Shields, 100% failed steroid test.
No, Paul Harris is just an a-hole. That's all.
Oh, he's just a dick.
Yeah, anyone who just pops people's knees and legs like it's a fun thing to do is just a dick. Period.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Go ahead, brother.
Who's that other person on the line that laughs but doesn't say anything?
Oh, Carrie, I was literally about to text her and be like, yo, are you just like listening to me and Anthony like talk, or are you actually gonna hop in on it? Because I know Carrie likes to get quiet sometimes and feels like that if she says anything, she might be disturbing the flow of the conversation. But you can't hop in here.
Her name's Carrie?
You know, it's not. Yeah, Carrie.
Carrie, I know you have to have some questions.
Is she still there? Her number's there. Where'd she go? I was just texting her.
I think Carrie left. Carrie said Anthony talks too goddamn much, and she's out of here.
You're scaring the ladies off now instead of the opposite. Well, you are married now, so basically.
I don't need that problem. That's for sure. I'll scare them off the best I can.
Hey man, I don't blame you, man. You know, females are crazy these days. You don't want the problems. No. I got enough females in my house. I don't need any of those problems. That's for sure. Yeah, you got the wife and You said what?
I said I'm a little disappointed that Carrie left us.
Yeah, like literally, her number's still sitting there in the queue. Literally, like not even 10 minutes ago, I was just texting her. I was like, I think I just got Hector fucked up more, and she laughed at me, but she didn't say anything after that.
Maybe she's a Hector Lombard fan.
No, I definitely don't. Knowing Carrie, she's a New York girl. I don't think Hector's her cup of tea. That's why I asked her to come on, because we had a guy like you just speaks their mind, and that's exactly how she is. So that's why I actually thought that she'd have gave us a little more tonight. It is what it is.
Well, shit.
Yeah, and yeah, just seen her disappear. Now she's gone. I think it was I think it was Blog Talk not letting the number go away. But I guess as we get ready to wrap this one up, since obviously me and Anthony scared Carrie away.
We did.
You know how we wrap this thing up, brother. You know, kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you might have, anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. As always, guys, I appreciate the support. The kind words that I've gotten leading up to to this fight have been great. You know, I appreciate every single one of them, and I do run all my social media, so I do see it all. So I appreciate that. My Twitter is @LionheartSmith, so definitely jump over there and give me a follow.
Hi, Carrie, I'm back on with you guys.
We found
Holy shit, Carrie!
I was like, why? I was talking and I didn't know if you guys could hear me.
Carrie, are you a Hector Lombard fan?
No, I'm actually really stoked to watch you kick his ass, to be honest. I can't wait.
So you didn't get mad and disconnect the call because I was going to beat up Hector?
No. I'm really excited because you know what? Honestly, you don't take supplements. All the stuff that you were saying bodes very well with me. So, you know, I'm pretty stoked to see it. I want to see you put the hammer on him.
Pretty much what I literally just basically. I won't. I don't know. You have to ask Carrie if she will be. I'm actually.
What?
Will you be going to Pittsburgh to cover the fight in 10 days?
You know what? I could very well make a phone call and make that happen. I know I'm pretty sure going to be at UFC in Detroit with a all access pass, which I'm pretty excited about. So that's in December. But Pittsburgh, I'm not sure. I could talk to my friend right now and be like, yo, get me in. And why not? You know, it's so close. It's not far from New York at all.
It's actually probably closer to for you.
Why wouldn't you guys go cover that? Why wouldn't you guys go cover that? That's pretty close.
Well, you know what? It's actually, believe it or not, as for what we do, it's bizarre because it's so hard to get press passes for UFC events. It's a lot harder than you would expect. And I was at, where was I? I was at Glory Kickboxing, and this guy from WFAN's Outside the Cage or whatever was sitting right behind me, and he's like, wait, is your name Kelly? And I'm like, no, it's Carrie Steller. And he goes, I follow you on Instagram. He goes, how come I've never seen you at a UFC? You have more of a following than us. I'm like, I have no idea. No clue. I don't work for a big outlet. If I did, I guess you would see that, but it's
that's more along the lines of what lets you get credentialed or not. If you're affiliated with some of these larger outlets, it's easier for you to get credentialed. Like I have 3 times the following than Carrie. I could fill out credentials and not get them, but because she's affiliated with some of these other websites that have a better SEO website, then she would probably get the credentials over me.
What my hope is, and this is my hope with the new direction of the UFC and the new owners being that, you got some Hollywood people in there, that would be a good direction for people that aren't, working for a huge publication, that are more of like, personalities and online, reporters and stuff, because there's a huge calling for it. There's a lot of us out there that are great, and really good at what we do and have huge followings, and it's just stupid not to. But I've been to every other big show. It's just that's the one I haven't cracked yet. But December, I think I'll be in Detroit, which kind of sucks that it's not at, the Garden or anything like that.
The local one.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere though. So I don't care where I end up as long as my face is there and it's the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Like that's my end goal is.
We can hear we can hear you, Aunt. Can you hear us? Wait, no, he's gone. We just lost him.